static Kramer drive. So you can see this is the circuit configuration of a static Kramer drive here, and this is three-phase AC supply, which is given to the wound rotor induction motor. This motor is a wound rotor induction motor. That means the rotor of the induction motor contains slip rings. So the power will be wasted on the rotor, right, because of the slip rings. So that wastage power can be taken from the rotor slip rings, and which is given to a diode bridge rectifier. Here also you can see a diode bridge rectifier is used in order to convert the three-phase wastage power into a DC value. So across these two terminals, we are getting a DC value, which is a DC power, and that DC power is applied to a DC motor. You can see here, and the shaft or the rotor of the DC motor is coupled with the rotor part of the induction motor in order to give some boost in the speed of induction motor, right? Generally you can see due to the inertia present in the rotor, because of the weight of the rotor, we will have some inertia. Due to that inertia, some some speed drop will be happening on the rotor. Some speed drop will be happening on the rotor due to the inertia of rotor part. So and not only that, because of the wastage of slip power on the slip rings, the speed of the motor will also get reduced. So we are using that slip power and converting it into a DC, like same we have done in the static shear bus drive. So the DC is given to the DC motor. So with the help of this DC power, I am running a DC motor. Of course, this DC motor speed is very low, which is coupled to this induction motor. If the let us say if the induction motor is running at 1300 RPM, but according to the input power, it has to be run at 1400 RPM. That 100 RPM is lost due to the air gap power or slip power, or because of the inertia of the rotor. So with the help of this DC motor, we will increase, or we will add that 100 RPM by coupling this DC motor shaft to this induction motor shaft. So generally, let us say if it is running at 1300 RPM, so I am giving this motor revolutions to this induction motor, so that that lost 100 RPM can be gained. That means simply like boost. So again, we will get the 1400 RPM. So that means what we are doing here, the wastage power that is on the rotor slip rings, that is feedback, that is converted into DC in the feedback form, and which is utilized to run the DC motor, and the DC motor rotor shaft is connected to the induction motor, and the running speed of this motor will increases or will boost the actual speed of the induction motor. So what we are doing, we are improving the performance by taking the feedback of the slip power. Simply we are reusing this wastage of a slip power and which is given to this DC motor, and the DC motor is rotating based on the DC power, slip power, which boosts or which amplifies or which increases the actual speed of the induction motor, because the DC motor shaft and induction motor shaft both are coupled here, simply like a prime mover concept. In order to regulate the speed of this DC motor, here you can see if separately excited DC motor is considered, because we are having the freedom of degree to control the speed of the DC motor. In series DC motor, we don't have any degree of freedom for regulating the speed with the help of field control, because in series motor, field and armature both are on the same circuit. Here in the separately excited DC motor, the field is connected separately. That means we can control the field of the DC motor. So with this advantage, we can utilize this advantage in regulating the speed of the DC motor. If we are regulating the speed of the DC motor itself, it shows that automatically the speed of induction motor will also be regulated, because this shaft is connected to the shaft of induction motor, which means the rotor part of the DC motor and the rotor part of the induction motor both are connected or coupled. Okay. And the rotor slip power, which is converting here as a DC power by means of a diode bridge rectifier. Here we can use a diode bridge rectifier or thyristor bridge rectifier also. With the help by replacing these diodes with the thyristors, we can use phase controlled converter or three-phase rectifier diode. In the place of diode bridge rectifier, we can use the firing full controlled rectifier in order to control this power also, in order to control the power, because diodes we cannot control, but with the help of thyristors we can control the output also by changing the firing angles, right? So thyristor based bridge rectifier also we can use here in order to control the DC power which is applied to this DC motor. So the torque supplied to the load will be the sum of the torque produced by this induction motor and the DC motor, because both are coupled, right? If the induction motor is handling some load, so the total torque that is supplied to the load will be the torque of this induction motor and the torque of which is added to the torque of DC motor. And this is how the slip power is utilized in order to rotate the DC motor, which indirectly helps the induction motor to boost or to increase its speed or torque according to the load or according to the operation. And some characteristics we can see for this circuit. So you can see here, these are the characteristics, which is variations of VD1 and VD2 with respect to the speed. You can see on the x-axis it is speed. So DC1, VD1 is the voltage of one condition, VD2 is the voltage of a second condition. We can vary these voltages, which is, you can see here, this is VD1 here. So now variations of VD1 and VD2 with respect to the speed, by changing with respect to the change in the speed, VD1 value as well as VD2 value will also be varied with respect to the speed, and that speed can be controlled with the help of field winding that we have used for our separately excited DC motor. And the steady state operation can be obtained when this VD1 and VD2 both are equal. When these two voltages are equal, which means particularly at the point of this point, maybe almost at A and B for field circuit IF and IF1 and means IF1 and IF2, which means here we can control the steady state. I mean, we can operate the motor under steady state conditions where VD1 and VD2 are equal here. And this characteristics shows about VD1 and VD2, and these two characteristics shows the IF1 and here IF2, IF1 and IF2. So speed control is possible here from synchronous speed to half of the synchronous speed. When the larger speed is required, then we definitely replace this diode bridge rectifier with the thyristor bridge, so that we can get the control over the output DC voltage, because we will have we can control the firing angles of the thyristor bridge rectifier. So for larger speed range, generally we will use the thyristor bridge rectifier. And the relationship between VD1 and speed can be altered for the thyristor bridge rectifier also by varying the firing angles of the thyristor. So that relation VD1, which means the output, can be altered or controlled by changing the or by controlling the firing angles if we use a thyristor bridge rectifier. Generally, this thyristor bridge rectifier is used for large speed range. But diode bridge rectifier used here only for synchronous speed to half of the synchronous speed. If we want more than that speed control, then we will go for thyristor based bridge rectifier, so that we can balance the voltages where VD1 and VD2 will be equal. At that particular point, the motor will operate under standstill mode or steady state mode, where the load power can be, the generated torque can be equal to the load torque. So this is how the static Raman drive generally works.